to Shining, Shimmering, Splendid, where I review Walt Disney World rides and attractions. Today I'm going to be trying to figure out why the rum is gone as I review Pirates of the Caribbean. This ride opened on March 18th, 1967 in Disneyland and was the last ride that Walt himself personally oversaw. It was so popular that it made its way to Disney World on December 15th, 1973. Pirates is a dark boat ride similar to Splash Mountain, Maelstrom, or even It's a Small World. This ride, as I'm sure many of you know, is what inspired the Pirates of the Caribbean films, and those films in turn then inspired the ride, which now adopts a lot of the characters and a bit of a plot from the movies. The ride begins by going through a bright mist where you're warned by either Blackbeard or Captain Barbossa not to progress any further. You then see a bunch of pirates who have been marooned on an island and are now nothing more than skeletons. The Florida version even has a mermaid, which again was inspired by the films. You're given that infamous warning of dead men tell no tales, and then you're falling down this small drop that actually feels a lot steeper than it is. It almost feels like you're going back in time to the height of piracy as you come across a group of pirates waging war on a small town. The ride used to be fairly plotless. The pirates arrived, they plundered the town, they stole food, they set fire to the town, they got caught, and then it was over. Now it kind of incorporates a bit of a plot and a search for Jack Sparrow. Now the great thing about this ride is that it's a classic. It's always going to be a staple of your trip because it's one of the things that you think about when you think of Disney World. It's a great ride to ride with kids because it's not too boring, it's not too scary, it's going to keep their interest even though the animatronics aren't the world's greatest. They're still using the same ones from 1975, but it's pirates, and it's fun, and it's exciting, and it's got that song that gets stuck in your head all day. You really can't go wrong with it. Plus, the queue line itself is actually one of my favorites. Most of it is inside, in air conditioning, so that's a plus on its own. Plus, you're going through this old dungeon, and you're seeing all these really cool props, these weapons, and cannonballs, and chains, and you can touch most of it, and kids will drive you crazy banging on the chains, but it makes what's usually not that long of a wait feel like even less. Now, for the cons of this ride, I hate to say it, but I really don't like the changes that they keep making to this ride. They keep incorporating the movies more and more and losing what made the original ride so wonderful, so joyful, so exciting and happy. I know that this makes me sound like a purist, and it was better before they changed it, but hear me out. There are a couple of valid points I'm about to make. When you first go down the hill, you see a pirate captain on a ship waging war on a town. And it used to be just a random generic captain, and then they changed it to Barbossa, which is totally fine. I love Jeffrey Rush. He's awesome. Everything's great. And then they changed his dialogue to be searching for Jack Sparrow. Also makes sense, totally fine. Then you go around the corner and you come across a scene where the mayor is being interrogated. Now, it used to be just the pirates having fun, waterboarding people, but now he's being interrogated for the whereabouts of Jack Sparrow. Again, okay, fine, but maybe give us a little bit of a break before we talk about Jack all the time.
Jack Sparrow, show yourself, you miserable cur! Will become Jack Sparrow!
This is also where you get your first spotting of Jack Sparrow hiding behind some dresses. Then you go through a couple scenes, no mention of Jack, everything's fine, and you come across what's called the Pooped Pirate. And now he has a treasure map, and he's holding a key, and he's talking about how Jack Sparrow's never gonna find this treasure. It's all for him. And Jack is hiding in a barrel right next to him, kind of looking over and seeing the map, and you can figure out where this is gonna go. And here's my biggest beef with the changes. At the end of the original ride, the pirates did set fire to the town, and they're singing the pirate song, and everything feels surprisingly happy considering. One of the changes that they made is that they made the fire effects a lot bigger. While the fire used to be something kind of vague in the background, now it's front and center. You kind of feel like you're in the middle of a burning inferno, and the pirates are still singing, and they're still drunk, and they're still happy. And then you go around the corner to that iconic scene of the dog and the pirates in the cell, and it used to be a really funny scene. They're trying desperately to coax this dog, and the dog's not moving, and it even got a shout out in the first Pirates film. And now they have this burning beam in the cell with them, and you see this fire right behind them, and It turns a really funny scene into something really scary. You feel bad for the pirates now. You want that dog to go over to them, otherwise these guys are gonna burn to death. And then, not 2 seconds later, there's Jack singing in a treasure vault. It's just a huge mood whiplash that doesn't quite sit well with you. That's the last scene that you see before you depart the boat. So you get off the ride and you're like, I wonder if those pirates burn to death. Not quite the feel you want to have at the end of a Disney ride. I get it. Being a pirate is bad. What they're doing's not good. We're not glorifying it or anything like that. But why you gotta make me feel so bad? My overall opinion is that in the beginning, I'm always excited to ride this ride. The queue line gets me pumped, and the mist and the skeletons and the drop are always exciting. And then by the end of the ride, I'm always left slightly disappointed. And I don't know if that is the changes that have been made to the ride or the fact that I'm just older and it's just not as exciting as it used to be, but it's definitely not as good as of a ride as I remember it being. I'm definitely not going to stop riding it, but I will admit that it has lost a bit of its magic. I would give this ride 5 out of 10 singing pirates because it's perfectly average. It's a great ride for kids. It's a fun ride for adults who have ridden it before. And that's about it. So what do you think? Are the changes to the ride for better or for worse? What's the thing that you miss the most from the old ride? And what's a new addition that you actually think enhances it? Let me know in the comment section below. And feel free to like and subscribe if you like my reviews. As always, comment below if there's a ride that you would like me to review. And check back every Thursday for another Shining, Shimmering, Splendid review.